Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. So it has been a long time since I've A, sat down properly and done a video like this, and B, done a episode in my university series. And recently I've just been really inspired to sit down, make some videos, and I've literally created a whole list of videos that I've got coming up soon, one of them being this video. So I sat down and thought, what can I do in terms of my student videos? They have surprisingly done so well view-wise, specifically my ones about Nottingham Trent Uni. And I thought, what a better time than to create a meal ideas video for students, because whilst I was there, I mean, you get bored of eating the same thing over and over again. And it's always good to try something new, have inspiration. I quite often would look in cookbooks for inspiration for things that I could cook that was cheap, healthy, and that didn't take me too long. So today I've put together a video of your meal idea essentials. I've got some cupboard essentials and freezer essentials as well. So if you're interested and you want some inspiration about what to cook, then please keep on watching. So to start off this video, I am going to break this down into, I've got 20 meal ideas, and within those meal ideas I have got meals that you can bulk cook, meals that are freezable, some veggie meals, and meals that you can do in the slow cooker. So you can put them on. Obviously not everybody has a slow cooker, but I was lucky enough that I was gifted one from one of Lewis's family members before I went to uni. And I think slower cookers are such a good idea to have if you're at uni all day. You do not want to be coming back from uni and starting cooking a meal. You just want to kind of sit down and eat. So that's what I've broken it down into. Of course, there's loads of other meals and different variations, but these are just mainly the ones that I would cook and my meals that were my go-to. So meal number one, like a lot of these are going to be classics, is spaghetti bolognese, because spaghetti bolognese, if you just buy the mince, if you buy the onions separately, I know I've mentioned this in a video before in my budgeting and saving video, that a top tip for saving yourself some money is to buy loose fruit and vegetable, because if you buy them in the packs, the chances are of you buying the pack of 3 onions, of you using those onions before they go off, is, I mean, yeah, it's pretty high for the vegetables to go off before you get a chance to use them all. And it's actually cheaper if you just buy the 1 onion loose by itself, and you're also saving on packaging from buying the plastic wrap if you just buy the onion by itself. So yeah, spaghetti bolognese is a classic. Like I said, if you buy the mince, the onion, if you get some tinned tomatoes, a lot of the stuff that I've put in this video for the store cupboard essentials and freezer essentials are gonna be what you keep putting back into these meal ideas. So I wanted to do this video as a whole, so then you can put your meal ideas and your basic ingredients, and you can interchange them, and they're constantly there, and they're accessible, they're cheap, healthy and quick. So spaghetti bolognese is the first one. It's freezable and you can bulk cook. So I would do on a Monday, I would bulk cook a spaghetti bolognese, and that would feed, probably do either 3 large meals and one for lunch, or 4 meals. So yeah, spaghetti bolognese, if you cook it from fresh mince, well, actually you don't even need fresh vegetables, because I'll move on to that. But as long as you have fresh meat, you can then freeze afterwards. So my first meal idea is spaghetti bolognese. My second one is homemade burgers. And this doesn't have to mean that you buy the mince and you make the burgers themselves, which of course you can, and it will be cheaper if you do it that way. So if you were to buy the mince, just Google it. I don't know if you need an egg, but you can put some onions in there, maybe some spices, some chilies, salt and pepper, flavour them if you like. But if you were to actually make the burgers, it would be a lot cheaper. If not, if you do pre-made burgers, that's another meal idea. Towards the end of uni, I started doing things like that. Some of these meal ideas are going to take a little bit of time, like the bulk ones are going to take longer to prepare. But in the long term, they're going to benefit you more, because you can just take it out the freezer, let it defrost all day, stick it in the microwave, have it with some rice or pasta, and that's your meal done in a matter of minutes. So yeah, some of these are going to take a little bit longer, and they are going to be more things to cook. I know people struggle with cooking if you've never cooked before, so some of these meal ideas are more if you have your own house in second and third year, if you feel more comfortable cooking when you have your own house. Some people just go all out in first year, but I was a little bit more sceptical of being the communal kitchen in first year. I didn't want to spend too long in there. I just kind of wanted to do something quick, easy, something that wasn't too smelly, and get in and out and eat in my bedroom. So some of these things are going to take a little bit longer, so you're going to be in the kitchen longer. Others, you can just throw it in the oven, forget about it, go in, eat it, and get out of the kitchen if that's something that you want to do. But yeah, my second meal idea is burgers, homemade. It saves you as well from, even though McDonald's, it's cheap, it's convenient, it's not the healthiest, nor is like burgers itself, but then you can kind of choose, is it turkey mince burgers, beef burgers, lamb burgers, chicken burgers, and all of these meal ideas, by the way, pretty much can be a veggie alternative. So you can do vegetarian burgers, you can use corn mince for the spaghetti bolognese, just to throw that out there. So my second meal idea is burgers. My third one is another classic, it's bangers and mash. Bangers and mash is so underrated because I think when you get to uni, you get so used to doing pasta with this, pasta with that, rice, pasta, do you know what I mean? Like spaghetti bolognese, those kind of things, and you miss the home comfort. What is more comforting than bangers and mash? So bangers and mash with some onion gravy, such a good and underrated dinner, fills you up. You could make the mash yourself with the potatoes, or you can just go to Tesco and buy the already made, or use Smash, up to you. What are we on now? My fourth meal idea is a chili con carne. Again, this another meal idea which is freezable and you can bulk cook, very similar to the spaghetti bolognese idea. My fifth meal idea is to get some fresh chicken breast and do some Mediterranean vegetables with it. If you're trying to be a bit healthier, trying to cut out the carbs as much, because it's very easy to be having fries, pasta, bread, rice, even though some of those are healthy carbs. It's so easy to have carb heavy dinners every night, and sometimes I just don't want to have the chips, the rice, the pasta, the potatoes. Like, I just wanted something different. So do some chicken and some Mediterranean vegetables. Like I've said before, if you were to buy the loose vegetables, so if you were to buy like a couple of peppers, some red onion, courgette. I really experimented with my cooking at uni. I use vegetables that I've never cooked with before, like squash. I bought a lot of sweet potatoes, so I'll get a potato in there, but it's a little bit healthier. So yeah, chicken and Mediterranean vegetables is another good one. If you're just trying to look for an alternative and eat a little bit healthier, just some chicken and veg, that's another good idea. My sixth meal idea is a shepherd's pie. A lot of these are very similar, home comforts, but like I said, if you're away from home, especially in this time right now, and you just want something that's a little comforting, something that feels like home and tastes like home, that is a shepherd's pie for me. And shepherd's pie, again, is freezable and you can bulk cook. So a lot of these ideas you can make, say, on a Sunday or a weekend or a Monday if you've got a Monday off, and spend a little bit more time cooking these meals once you've made them. But get some Tupperware boxes, they're like the Chinese takeaway boxes, and they will become your best friends. You just put everything, any leftovers in there, have it for lunch the next day, or freeze it, and when you've got a really busy day, you just take it out in the morning, and then it'll be defrosted by the time you come home and it's ready to go. So my seventh meal idea is a burrito bowl. I actually didn't really cook burrito bowls, but if I was at uni now, it's definitely something that I would do. So again, you can make it veggie, vegan, meat, fish, whatever. I would be quite interested in doing like a prawn burrito bowl or a chicken burrito bowl. Throw some sweet corn, avocado, onions. It's a good one to kind of throw in any veg that you've kind of got left around in the fridge. If it's about to go off, throw it all in the burrito bowl, maybe with some beef mince, some taco seasoning or fajita seasoning, like I said, or chicken or shrimp, whatever, and just throw it in a bowl together and you've got another meal idea. So that's probably quite a good one if you've got leftovers, is a burrito bowl. Number 8 is an absolute classic, student fave through and through, one that I would go back to time and time again. If I'm being lazy, if I want something again filling, comforting, quick. If you don't want to spend too much time in the kitchen, you want to throw something in the oven, forget about it for 40 minutes and then come back to it, the classic pasta bake. Pasta bake was an absolute essential in my house, at least at my uni house. It was something that me and the girls had all the time, especially one of my housemates, Emma. She was the pasta bake queen. So much cheese, so warming. If you do like the proper dish of pasta bake, depends how hungry you are, it could last you 2 nights for dinners, or it could do maybe three dinners, depends what your portion sizes are like, or 2 dinners and a lunch portion if you could take some into uni with you the next day and have it in a Tupperware box. So a lot of these meal ideas you are so versatile. They're not just dinner ideas. You can then use the leftovers for your lunch and take it into uni with you. So yeah, pasta bake is obviously a huge essential and just an absolute classic. Pasta bake again is freezable as long as the meat that you have, if you're having a chicken pasta bake, as long as the chicken that you have, you bought it from fresh and not frozen, then you can freeze it. If it's frozen chicken that you're then defrosting, cooking, putting in the pasta bake, you cannot refreeze that because it was already been frozen and cooked. So as long as it's fresh chicken that you're putting in there, and then you want to freeze it, that's absolutely fine. And like I said, that is a freezable and a bulk one as well. Number 9 is another healthier one. It's a chicken and avocado salad. That's just something I would have really regular. If I was like one of my years, in my second year, me and the girls were getting ready to go to Zante that summer. I know it seems so crazy talking about girls' holidays now with what's going on in the world, but we were getting ready to go on our holiday, my first girls' holiday to Zante, and we obviously all wanted to look our best. So there was a lot of salads going on in that household around then. So we would often have chicken, salads, avocado. If you wanted to bulk up a bit, I would add in half a packet of those Uncle Ben's rices, maybe a Mexican rice, or a pita bread if you wanted to add some more carbs. But just to keep it quite simple and healthy, it was just basically a salad, whether that's chicken and bacon, if you wanted a veggie salad, a vegan salad, any meat, literally anything. A salad is what you make it. It can be boring, or it can be what you make it. So yeah, salad is another idea. Number 10 is one that I made a couple times and my housemates loved it when they tried it. Was a spinach, chickpea and sweet potato curry. I really wanted in my 3rd year to just get into cooking, and I wanted to create but I wanted to create meals that I haven't created before, and that if I had the time, I wanted to experiment. Uni is not only a time to experiment in all aspects of life, but also with your cooking, and you're building your life skills and experiences. So I experimented with this curry and absolutely loved it. And I bought the sweet potato, again, loose vegetables, cut it all up into chunks, throw it into a curry. And that's one that you can also do as a slow cooker idea as well. Throw all the ingredients into the slow cooker, leave it for hours on slow. When you come back, your curry is done. So that's another idea. So that is one that can be bulk cooked, is slow cooker friendly and freezable, and veggie. So that is one that ticks a lot of boxes. Alternatively, you could of course add some chicken in there, but I wanted to add in a couple of veggie meal ideas because it's good to have an alternative and a bit of variety. Not every day I ate meat. Actually, whilst I was at uni, I had 2 days a week where I would eat veggie. Well, maybe 3 days a week I'd eat veggie, 1 day pescatarian. Not because I wanted to be vegetarian or wanted to be pescatarian, but I just think it's good, again, to mix things up. If you're creating meals for yourself and putting ideas together, it can get so boring having the same meals week after week. And it's also so easy to do Deliveroo, McDonald's, takeaways, dinners, restaurants. It's so easy just to go out. But at the same time, you are students, you're wanting to save your money and try and be healthy as well. So a lot of these ideas tick a lot of those boxes. So yeah, a sweet potato curry was one of my favourite things. And a lot of my recipes, if I wanted to create my own kind of curries, like that one just came from like BBC Good Foods. I got a lot of inspiration from Joe Wick's Lean in 15 cookbooks. So a lot of meal ideas and recipes you can get from there. Sometimes they're not the cheapest because you're having to buy things such as like one of this, one of that. And if you're a student, your store cupboard essentials aren't going to be, you're not going to have every single spice and every single seasoning in there. So a lot of these recipes that I've got and meal ideas are going to be using the same kind of ingredients, foods, just in different varieties and forms. So that is number 10 was my curry. Number 12 is again another veggie one, and this is a falafel and hummus wrap. I absolutely love falafel, really got into it when I was at uni, and if I go into Tesco's, do Tesco's own zone, they would just have a bag of like falafel bites, and they're really good freezer essential to have something that isn't constantly, you're not constantly going to be eating fresh food cooking it every night. Some nights you are just going to want a freezer meal, and you've got to have things in there that you can just throw in the oven and it's going to be done in 20 minutes. Sometimes you have days like that and you just want to not have to worry too much about what you're going to eat. So falafel and hummus wraps were really good, and I would have them with like sweet potato fries. So that's another meal idea. Number 13 is a chicken katsu curry. And this is something that I've had actually out of uni, and as I've had it here, I think that's such a good idea to have if I was a student, because it's just some rice, and if you just get from, I think it's Aldi, it's the Mayflower curry sauce, so it's a powder, and all you do is add some hot water to it, and it is such a nice curry sauce. And if you have your rice, that curry sauce that you make up, again, it comes in like a Tupperware box, and it's a powder, so it's not going to go off. You can keep it there, and it's another store cupboard essential. And then if you were just to buy some southern fried chicken breasts, like the freezable ones, stick that in the oven for 20 minutes, do your rice. By the time those are done, you can put your curry sauce on, and bam, you've got a chicken katsu curry. It saves you going to Wagamama's, a lot cheaper, and just another different meal idea as well. Number 14, I've got a casserole stroke stew. It's getting to that time of year now where we're wanting something warm, hearty, again, comforting, and those kind of meals really are what winter is about, those casseroles and the stews. So casseroles and stews are slow cooker friendly and freezable and a bulk cook. So that's another meal where you can do it on a night that you've got free. Put everything into the slow cooker with the chicken casserole, beef casserole, sausage casserole, veggie casserole or stew, and just throw it all in the casserole slow cooker. Leave it on slow whilst you're at uni, whilst you're studying. When you come back, it's ready, and you've got leftovers for the next couple of days, or you can freeze them. So slow cooker / casseroles is another really good idea, and it's again cheap and cheerful because it's just throwing in any leftover veg that you have possibly going off, throw in some meat or an alternative, a bit of gravy, or you can just buy one of those Coleman's sachets. They'd be like a sausage casserole sachet. Probably all you need to add to that is maybe some water, milk, and then your meat and vegetables, and that is it. So that's another really great idea. Again, cheap, healthy, and bulk cook, so it's ready for you in a matter of minutes later on in the week, so you're doing yourself a huge favour. Number 15, stir fries. I loved them. It's one thing that I'll just come back to all the time. If I'm thinking, oh, I've had the same kind of things all the time, like if you're having a lot of bangers and mash, spaghetti bolognese, carbonara, well, you can have carbonara, but I meant chili con carne. Sometimes you like want something a bit different. That again, it is the noodles, but the vegetables, the chicken, it's quick. If you want a fresh, quick, easy meal, a stir fry, time after time, is something that I'd come back to, especially because if you buy, like the Tesco's have a meal deal where you buy the vegetable stir fry, bag of veg, the noodles, a sauce, and if you just have your chicken at home in the freezer already, then that's just a really quick meal idea, and that will last me for the next day as well. So that's 2 nights worth of dinners in one dish. Or you could do two, so you've got 2 evening meals from a stir fry, or you could have 1 evening meal and 2 lunches. Depends how you look at it or what your serving sizes are like. But a stir fry is another classic for me that I would come back to time and time again. Number 16 is fajitas. I love Mexican food. My kind of foods that you can tell are either kind of the chicken, rice, wraps and avocados, or they're the traditional bangs and mash. They're my 2 kind of like food personalities. It's either Mexican or it's home comforts. So a lot of those kind of ideas are reflected in these meal ideas. And fajitas, like you could have the wraps already in the freezer or in the cupboard, and then the actual fajita like mix of the chicken, if you want whatever meat you want, or alternative with the vegetables. You can bulk cook that, it's freezable, and it can also be veggie as well. So again, another great idea. Bulk cook all of the fajita, like the chicken that it says, the seasoning and any veg that you want to add, and that's a couple of nights worth of dinners. So you can either have the fajita mix with the actual wraps and do the whole thing, or you could have the fajita mixed with rice, fajita mixed with some Mediterranean veg, with couscous. There's so many varieties, so fajitas are another great meal idea. Number 17, another classic, a freezer staple, is some just classic basic frozen pizzas. And it's so important to have, like I say before, meal ideas that you don't have to think about too much. Not every night is going to be a freshly cooked healthy meal, especially if you're going on a night out with when things are going to go back to normal. Just having a frozen pizza to throw in the oven, whilst you're getting ready, 20 minutes, come back down. So many times me and the girls would do this. Throw a pizza in the oven, go upstairs, start doing our makeup, start having a drink, eat your pizza as you're getting ready, and that's your food before you've gone on your night out. You know that it's a bit carby, stodgy, so it's going to soak a lot of the alcohol up. You've had a meal before you're going out and you've not had to think about it. It's just there in the freezer, ready for you as and when you want it. Number 18 is a lasagna. Again, this is a bulk cook and a freezable recipe, another home comfort. Number 19 is meatballs and pasta, meatballs by themselves. So I would actually go to IKEA and get the famous meatballs from there. The pork and the chicken ones, I've tried both, so those were freezable. So I would just pick out some meatballs from there, maybe 6 as and when I wanted it, have it with some pasta. And that's again another really quick meal idea. Or like I said with the burgers, you can make the meatballs yourselves. Buy the mince meat, make them into balls, maybe add whatever seasoning, veg you want to add into them, maybe add some cheese in the middle of them, and that's just another really great meal idea. So meatballs, like I said, you can bulk cook it and they are freezable, or you can get freezable ones really cheap from Tesco's or Aldi. So the last meal idea that I have on this list, of course there's probably loads that I've missed off, but just from here, is salmon and couscous. I've only recently just got into salmon, but I wish if I was into it at uni that this would have been the meal idea that I would have had, is just to get some salmon. And couscous is so easy to buy and make. I used to buy the little packets, so what I would do is pour that into like a measuring jug, top it up with some water, and then just put something over the top, whether it be a plate or just a tea towel to cover it, let it steam, and in a matter of 5 minutes your couscous is cooked. Yes, you can buy the Tesco's bagged couscous and cook it yourself, but I just find it so easy. They are the packet couscous from Aldi. To do it that way, boil a kettle, put hot water into a measuring jug, cover it for 5 minutes with a tea towel. By the time that it's steamed, it's done. So you could have chicken with couscous, salmon with couscous, whatever with couscous. It's just another alternative to pasta, rice, potatoes, and have something like that instead. So those are my 20 meal ideas for students. So I hope I've gone through those okay and haven't gone through them too quickly, but there was a lot of them that were kind of similar, along the same sort of vibes. Again, a lot of them that are freezable, you can bulk cook, and are vegetable friendly, like veggie friendly, and slow cooker friendly as well. So those are the meal ideas. Now moving on to my 20 store cupboard essentials. And I think sometimes you get to uni, you're like, oh, I don't have this, I forgot this, I forgot that. What do we have at home? And you start building up your spices and seasonings and store cupboard essentials kind of too late, and you get to the point where like, oh, I need to go and buy some salt, some soy sauce, those kind of things, as and when you want them right there and then. So just to get you started, these are just 20 store cupboard essentials that I could think of. As I'm saying it right now, I've just thought of soy sauce. That's one that I had in my cupboard all the time I would use. So that's not actually on the list, but that is one that I would have in my cupboard all the time. So to start off, you've got the classic salt and pepper, and you've got olive oil or cooking spray, sunflower oil, whatever it is that you want to cook your meat in your frying pan. The third store cupboard essential for me was Cajun seasoning. I would do Cajun chicken all of the time. Number 4 is paprika. Again, a lot of these spices can be interchangeable, whether it's garlic seasoning, all-purpose seasoning. These seasonings were mainly for chicken. If I was to have chicken and veg, chicken and rice, I wanted flavoured chicken. So I would mix up my seasoning as to what I wanted. It'd be all-purpose or garlic or paprika or Cajun. Those are my go-tos. Number 5 is tomato paste. A lot of these kind of spaghetti bolognese, chili con carnes, casseroles, those kind of meals, you want some tomato paste, and it's so unbelievably cheap from Tesco's, and a lot of recipes do ask for it. So yeah, tomato paste is another store cupboard essential. Number 6 is canned tomatoes. Again, you've got your spaghetti bolognese, chili con carnes, a lot of those, and your curries and anything else that you want to make from scratch do ask for tinned tomatoes. So that's number 6. Number 7 is, I've just done as a collective, is rice, pastas and spaghetti, and in brackets I've put soup noodles. Of course, this wouldn't be a student meal idea video if I didn't have some student meals, classic student meals in there. Number 8 is tins of soup, a really great lunch idea, or if you're having a lazy evening and you're not that hungry, you just want some soup, a really great store cupboard essential. Number 9 is the Maggie's cooking papers. So Maggie's do these little packets of kind of baking paper, like parchment paper with seasoning on both sides. So what you would do in your frying pan is it'd be like an envelope like this. So on one side you'd put your chicken breast, and then you'd fold the envelope over the chicken, so it's got the seasoning on the bottom and the seasoning on the top, and it would cook whilst in the frying pan in the seasoning, and it gets so juicy, full of flavours obviously. And like I said, I would very often have chicken and this, chicken and that. A chicken was a huge staple for me, a freezer essential, meal ideas essential. So these cooking papers made it so easy if I wanted to interchange the flavours without actually going out and buying the whole jar of seasoning. The Maggie's cooking papers I found really useful. Number 10, again, chicken seasoning. Number 11, sachets of porridge. Porridge, my girls will know, porridge was the breakfast I had at uni. In my 2nd and 3rd year, I actually had porridge, I am not joking, every single day. My porridge that I would have is, so I'd obviously have the porridge, I'd have a tablespoon and a half of crunchy peanut butter and banana. That's what I would have, because porridge is such a great breakfast. It's a healthy breakfast to have. It releases the fibre slowly, so it makes you feel fuller for longer, so you're not snacking as much. You can actually go through to lunchtime without feeling like you're starving to death, and it's a really great breakfast to have before exams, because you've got the fibre, which is releasing slowly, and you've got the bananas, which give you energy and meant to be good before exams, and the peanut butter to give you a little bit of crunch and sweetness. So porridge was a major store cupboard essential for me whilst I was a student. Number 12 is lentils. Lentils is really great for curries or just to bulk up any kind of dish. Number 13 is couscous. Number 14 is, of course, potatoes. I would buy a bag of potatoes because, like I said, I'd have mash, chips, jacket potatoes, a really great lunch idea all the time. And whatever I don't use, I cut up into chips and freeze them so they're not going to go off. Number 15, again, sweet potatoes. Do the same thing. I have them as jacket potatoes for lunch. I would have them as sweet potato fries with some of my dinners. I'd cut them into chunks for curries. Whatever, I'd buy a bag of sweet potatoes, or maybe like 3 or 4 loose ones if I know that I'm not going to go through them that quickly, or if it's end of term. And whatever I don't use, I cut up and freeze. So sweet potatoes are a great alternative. Number 16, flour. Number 17, onions and garlic. Onions go in so many things, and garlic, of course, is another seasoning and another flavour to have. Number 18 is tins of beans. Beans are great for lunches. If you want beans on toast for dinner, it's just another one of those store cupboard essentials that I do think every student should have. And then number 19 is stock cubes. Yeah, it's just great to have those for curries, for soups, for casseroles, for chilies, spag bowls, anything, just to enhance any flavours. And then number 20 is gravy, because like I said, you can put gravy in casseroles, in stews, to add to your dinner if you're having a roast or bangers and mash. Gravy is just another store cupboard essential, and great around this time of year as well, as you get closer to Christmas. And we would do a house or flat Christmas dinner around November or something, or just before we were about to leave for a Christmas break. So I always had gravy ready to go. So that is my 20 store cupboard essentials. Like I said, there's probably loads that I have missed off, but they're just the ones that come to mind straight away. And like I said, these are an essentials video. There's loads of things, like I said, peanut butter, that would be an essential for me, but I don't think it's an essential for everybody. And then lastly, I'm going to move on to 20 freezer essentials. So of course, many people don't keep bread in the freezer, but as a student, my biggest struggle was trying to find things, fresh items I could keep and that I'd go through quickly enough before they went off. And bread, I would never really go through a whole loaf of bread by myself, because I'm buying these things for one person before it goes off. So I would straight away, as soon as I've bought my bread, I would put it in the freezer, because it just goes off and that's a waste of money. So I would buy my bread would stay in the freezer, and if I wanted bread, which I never really would, I'm much more of a toast person. Like if I was to have a sandwich, I'd have it toasted. I wouldn't really have bread or sandwiches, such a lot of my sandwiches would be toasted. But if you just put it on the toaster on the defrost button setting, or even just on the normal setting for not as long, it goes back to being bread. But most of the time, like I said, I would just have toast, so it wasn't really an issue. Number 2 is pita breads. Pita breads, again, a really great lunch idea if you want tuna pita, cheese and ham pittas, if you want pita to have it with a salad for your dinner. It's just another alternative instead of having bread and toast. Number 3 is bagels. I really got into bagels in my 3rd year for a lunch idea. I would have egg mayo, do homemade egg mayo, tuna bagels, or just a bagel toasted for breakfast. So yeah, I'd keep those in the freezer as well. Like I said, they just go off too quickly. And for bagels, I just put them in the microwave for maybe 30 seconds, and then they go back to being bread, and then I would just toast it anyway. Number 4 is fries / like wedges. It's just another meal idea to have chicken this or this and that. If you want a freezer meal, chips are just one of those things. You don't have to think about it. It's just chips and like fish and chips, chicken and chips, chips and pie, like chips and sausage, whatever it is, fries and wedges were just a freezer essential. Then we've also got, of course, pizza, like I've already mentioned, pre-night out meal. It's a classic. You've got to have pizza. Then I've got frozen veg. So frozen veg is one of those things where it's so cheap and it just stops your vegetables going off. So a lot of the time, like I said, you can buy loose vegetables to stop them going off before you use them. But then you can also buy, if you're really lazy, bags of like frozen chopped onions to throw in your meals. So frozen vegetables you can literally have with anything. Like I said, you can have any kind of frozen veg, and it just saves all that hassle of having to cut up veg, keep it fresh. You've got it in the freezer for any time. Another freezer essential is chicken breasts. I would have chicken, like I said. I was about to say breakfast, lunch and dinner. No, not that much, but for a lot of meals I would have chicken. And then I'd also have some veggie burger patties as well, just for my alternatives. Falafel bites, fish is great frozen. Fruit to make smoothies or to put in porridge, just as an alternative if you want some frozen fruit. Ready meals, of course, like I said, not every day is going to be a freshly cooked meal. If you just want a frozen ready meal, you're a student, there's nothing wrong with that. Then I've got ice cream. Halo Top was like my fave whilst I was at uni. Something sweet after each meal is like an essential for me. So having ice cream is just a no-brainer. So I actually don't have 20 freezer essentials. There's not loads of things, but I know just a list of some other things that you'd have. You can freeze nuts, you can freeze butter, you can freeze milk, freeze your pre-made meals, and obviously freeze bulk bought veg. Like I said, if you buy sweet potatoes, you've got loads of them, chop them all up, throw them in the freezer, and they will be good and they'll keep as well. So I just want to finish with my 3 top luxury products. Like I said, you're a student, money's a bit tight, so things that you would have back at home are going to be a bit more of a luxury when you're a student because they're a little bit more expensive. My top 3 luxury products that I would buy most weeks would be avocado. Avocados are expensive. So yeah, avocado is my luxury essential that I would buy pretty much every week. Number 2 is peanut butter. Peanut butter is pretty cheap, and although it's not a store cupboard essential, it was an essential of mine, so I bought that as and when I wanted it and needed it. And just ending this video, my 3rd luxury product would be halloumi. Halloumi would go in curries, salads, any kind of dinner. Halloumi griddled with some sweet chili sauce is just a great combo. So that is it for my meal idea for students video. I really hope this has been informative and it's given you guys some ideas about what to cook if you're stuck for ideas, what to start with for your store cupboard, and things that you can put in your freezer as well. Other than that, I'll see you guys in my next video.